So Space Marine 2 is doing really good. 10th biggest launch on Steam this year. You currently have 71,000 people playing the game. That's with a 24-hour peak of 116. So there's still a lot of people playing this game. And this is just on Steam. It looks like it's doing well over on Xbox, which tells me it's probably doing really well over on PlayStation as well. I can't imagine that this isn't doing well over there if it's doing well on Xbox, because PlayStation is a much bigger platform right now. It outsells the Xbox by a crazy number. I don't remember what it is. It's like 4-1 or something. It's kind of crazy. Xbox is really down lately. I don't know how they fixed that, but Space Marine 2 is doing well over there, at least. Now, I haven't gotten to play very much of this game yet because I'm still playing Astrobot. I'm trying to get the platinum for that game, and I'm almost there. And then I plan on diving right into Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 right after that. I'm really excited to jump into this game, but I don't like juggling games. I like to focus on one and then move on to the next one. And I'm really excited to play this. I can't wait to jump into the multiplayer. It's got that horde mode coming. Like, there's going to be a lot of fun multiplayer-wise with this game, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm also really looking forward to the campaign. Now, I don't know a ton about Warhammer, but this game really makes me kind of interested in what's going on with that world. I've covered it a little bit because the parent group to this game, Games Workshop, is on a weird one right now, doing some crazy shit. I don't know if they're trying to get that BlackRock money or not. But none of that stuff has leaked into this game. As far as I know, I haven't seen anybody. Somebody would have hit me up and told me if there was some nonsense going on in this. And I haven't heard anything, which, of course, has some people flustered. We're going to get into that in a second. But maybe this is why this game just goes back to kind of old school throwback, kind of simple messaging like, hey, we're going to talk about honor. We're going to talk about brotherhood. We're going to talk about For the Emperor. As Space Marine 2 is a reminder, we lost, points out. Great video. I watched this one, then I watched Asmongold's reaction. And they're right. This is a game that we used to get all the time in the 360 era, which is probably why it's doing so well on Xbox. We used to get games like this all the time. 360 era, man, was a lot of fun. Looking back on it, a lot of people don't reminisce as much as they should, I think, when it comes to 360, because everyone always goes back to PS1, Nintendo 64, or the 16-bit war. That's where a lot of people always go when they get nostalgic about games. But the 360 era, man, was full of games like this, just fun, shoot 'em up games or fighting games. Like we had the Dead or Alive stuff. You know, there were simpler times, my friends, simpler times in gaming. And now we have all this nonsense like Dustborn and shit. I wish we could go back, but we can't. But I'm grateful that we get a game like this in 2024. It's been so long. That's why I'm really looking forward to playing it. I'm almost there, but Astrobot is a game that I didn't even know I needed because I love platformers. It's been a long time since I played a platformer that was as good as this one. With that kind of sizzle and presentation that this game brings, it's fun. The last one I can think of is Rayman Legends, which is one of my favorite platformers of all time. I like to include Legends and Origin in the same conversation because they're both great. We did have Super Mario Wonder. That was a really good time, but it felt like a regular Mario game. I know I'm not saying it's a bad game, but it wasn't my favorite out of all of their platformers. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. It's nice to have great games to talk about. Of Wukong, that game is a big hit, a lot of fun. It's nice that we're getting these games and there's no shit in them. I do like that. So here's what everyone's been talking about with this game. So this guy runs the studio that made this game, and he replied to Asmongold's video. And here's what he had to say. Hey, man, CEO of Saber here. I love your videos. When we signed the deal to make Space Marine 2, all I wanted was a throwback game. We had the chance to work on something which by its nature was old school. I can't even comprehend many of the current games that we play these days. They are too complex and too much of an investment. We worked on Halo back in the day. There's another reason why this game is probably so good. Back in the day, Halo. I still play the Master Chief Collection. Not all the time. Once in a while, I feel like popping in, and that's what I pop in if I want to play Halo. I don't play the new one. I go back to the old ones, and there's still people playing those. It's pretty easy to get a match, actually. There's a lot of people playing it, at least when I'm jumping on. Maybe they all picked that day, but it's great to go back to that game and still jump in once in a while. So we worked on Halo back in the day, and that game could be distilled down to the simplest of shooting loops, but it was entirely addicting. That is what we wanted to recapture. I hope that games like Space Marine 2 and Wukong are the start of a reversion to a time when games were simple and fun and about immersion. I spent some time as chief operating officer at Embracer, and I saw games there that made me want to cry with their overblown attempts at messaging or imposing morals on gamers. We just want to do some glory kills and get the heart rate up a little. For me, that is what games should be about. I like that messaging. It is funny, he was the COO over at Embracer and talks about how he hated these moral messagings that they're trying to put in the games and how cringy it can be. Just kind of ruins the game. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Gamers don't respond very well to that stuff. Look what's going on now. Look what's going on. Look what's going on with Ubisoft with that Star Wars Outlaws games. And I know they didn't. I don't think that they put a lot of messaging in that game, at least as far as I know. But look at the reactions that they did around it with their messaging, calling gamers sexist for not accepting that game and stuff. And then, of course, Dustborn, a game with messaging in it, completely rejected, almost embarrassingly so, because it had, like, what, I think 7? No, it's a little higher. No, I think it was 7 the other day. I mean, how many people are playing it right now? 7. So it's still 7, and it's probably mostly streamers. It's probably streamers streaming the game because it's funny content, and it's almost like guaranteed views. People come up and watch you suffer through this piece of shit. And, of course, they started to attack gamers for making fun of this game. I think it was the studio behind the game was calling people sexist, misogynist, racist for making fun of this junk. Then, of course, all the journalists came out of their little trolls and bridges and decided they wanted to attack people for making fun of this game, like clockwork. That just really shows you who they stand with. They'd rather stand with this game that has 7 people playing it than defend gamers. By the way, speaking of game journalists, I thought this was pretty funny. Gizmodo puts out this article. Space Marine 2 is too busy making you feel heroic to show the farce at Warhammer 40K's heart. Trying to say, like, oh, it's all satirical for the Emperor, all this stuff. And, you know, I haven't spent a lot of time with Warhammer 40K. I've covered a little bit, but it seems like everybody is a little shady in this universe. Like, nobody's perfect. There's darkness to everything. Like, nobody comes off as, like, the good guy in this world. Maybe I'm wrong on that. So it's like, why are you out here doing this? I would be willing to bet that this guy is not a Warhammer fan, by the way. We have to write this article, bringing people down who are probably enjoying this game. Let's make sure that we kind of give them something to kill their buzz. Let's ruin their good time. Let's call them sexist, which he basically does here. I don't hate the game. In fact, I enjoyed my time with it the whole way through. I enjoyed it as much as I did the first Space Marine when I played in high school. The problem is there's a non-insignificant, sexist, racist, and toxic portion of the Warhammer fan base that tend to think the Imperium is correct in its methods. Newcomers might play it and not understand what the setting is truly about. That would be a shame. So here, I'm going to educate you on those toxic Space Marines. So, I'm not going to go through the rest. That just really annoyed me. Journalists going to journal. That's what they do. Kyle Barr here wants to educate you on the thing that the sexist, misogynist, racist Warhammer fans champion or whatever. I don't think anybody gets in here and thinks that these guys are paragons of excellence. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what's going on with Space Marine 2. I think, in fact, it's you, sir, that don't get it. I can't believe Gizmodo is still going. I think this every time I come here, because it's like, does anybody actually come here for gaming news? What do they got on here? Oh, why are they talking about Trump on Gizmodo? Conspiracy theorists think alleged Trump hid information about his location. What? Why is this on this site? This is not MSNBC, sir. This is Gizmodo, a place about technology and science. Nobody comes here for their Trump news. This is what they really want to talk about. They want to talk about this shit. They don't want to talk about Warhammer. That's the first thing on the site, too. Oh, my God. Elon Musk deletes tweet. This is about Kamala. What is going on here? This is why your site is in the shitter, sirs and ma'ams that run this site. This is why your site is in the shitter. People don't come here for this. What a joke. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.